To a water break Wednesday. We're halfway there, friends. It's Wednesday. It's lunchtime. I'm Drew Dougherty. That's Deepi Sidhu right next to me. Deepi, how you been? What's going on?
I'm good, Drew. Halfway through the week, and we all made it through the tropical storm. What's there to not like about this week?
I know.
It's dry outside, finally.
It's going to be cool and balmy like in about a week or so, according to the weather experts. So that's got everybody optimistic as well. And the Texans are taking on the Steelers in Pittsburgh, looking to get win number 1 of the season. Got to face the Watt brothers, and TJ Watt has been playing exceptionally so far this season, as well as the last few seasons. Big challenge. And we want to hear your questions. So send them in wherever you're watching us from. And make sure you tell us where you're watching us from. If you're from Ireland or England or Pasadena or Spring Branch or Bel Air, we want to know it because we like knowing where our Texans fans are from. We know they're all over the world. But Deepi, big challenge this weekend. This is a fast Steelers defense, and it's a team with a very experienced quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep, Big Ben, year 17. It's just hard to imagine that he's been in the league as long as he has. I mean, JJ faced him as a rookie. JJ's going to face him again. This Steelers team didn't make the playoffs last year, but now with Ben Roethlisberger, they're 2-0. I know they think that this is probably their biggest challenge to date, facing Deshaun Watson and this offense and this Texans team. But you know what? The Texans, you said it, 0-2. They need to get a win. They hope to get it this Sunday. It's not going to be an easy one to get. This has been a tough stretch of the schedule these first few weeks. They face back-to-back young, speedy quarterbacks, and then they go against an old veteran that, you know, he looks as good as new. He's big, he's tall, he's hard to bring down. Totally different challenge for this Texans defense, and they're looking to turn things around this week with a good week of practice.
Yeah, and speaking of that Texans defense, we got a question off the bat from Aiden, and it's a good one. Will Jacob Martin play more? When he's been on the field, number 54 has made plays. He's made a difference, but he has been very limited in his snaps. So I wonder, and I kind of think that snap count will rise a little bit this Sunday. Because good things have happened when Martin's been in the fold and been out on the field on defense. He's now been with the team for a year, kind of joined right before the season started, after training camp of the preseason in 2019. So you got to think more time, more exposure, more opportunities are coming for Jacob Martin, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that first game against Kansas City, he kind of came out the gate hot. Had a big play. He's really worked hard this offseason on his pass rush. And the pass rush needs a guy like Jacob Martin to have big games. And the only way he can do that is if he's on the field. Now, as far as the substitutions and who's playing what snaps, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I knew what goes into that. But I think defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, my guess is twofold. It's one, just to keep guys fresh and healthy out there. And two, maybe it's depending on the matchups that they see out there. So I would predict that he would play more, especially as he's getting these big plays on the field. He's going to be a guy that you don't want to take off the field. I think that would bode well for the Texans defense. But even JJ Watt wasn't out there 100% of the time last Sunday and against the Ravens. And Bill O'Brien was asked about it. But JJ, when he's out there, made some big plays with the snaps that he was out there. He definitely took advantage.
Yeah, for sure, man. We've got one. Thank you for that question, Aiden. We love hearing from you, and that's a good one. Aiden, by the way, was chiming in from Missouri. You also got Sean in League City. And then down in Brownsville, Peter. What's up, Peter? Thanks for chiming in from Brownsville. And then our good pal Ryan in Ireland, back where my family comes from long ago. But we got Tex Rock on YouTube. I see that look there, DP. What can we do to improve the defense? Well, a lot of things. Need to get after the passer a little bit more. Need to keep playing strong against the run. You struggle with that week 1. On the whole, you struggle with that in week 2. But for the early part of that game last week against a super high-octane rushing attack, you held your own. But the dam kind of broke there at the end, and the Ravens were able to pile on that yardage. But just got to keep tackling sound, or tackle even more sound than you have. There is definitely an improvement week 1 to week 2 in that regard. And the Texans need to keep that up and keep getting better there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it, tackling, right? Tackling, being able to stop the run. Passing yardage-wise, the Ravens didn't really put a lot of yards up through the air, but they made up for it on the ground, certainly. So they're going to have to be able to hone in on both and stop the run. It's going to be a big challenge on Sunday when they face James Conner and the Steelers run game, because they've been able to get things moving with that offense as well. But I'm with you, Drew. It's got to be tackling. They got to play a little bit more in sync. That chemistry. I think it's going to come along. It's just been two really heady challenges in week 1 and 2 against, two really high-powered offenses. Not to say that it's going to slow down with the Steelers, but I think things need to get clicking for this Texans defense. It's certainly something that they've been working on now.
Right. All right. Peter wants to know this. Will we start seeing more deep shots with all of the new speed on offense? It stands to reason. Yes, Peter, I do think the Texans will try to go deep a little bit more. Steelers have a good pass rush, though, so it might be tough, if you have Deshaun Watson sitting there in the pocket and you got the Watts of the world and the Duprees of the world and whatnot coming after him. Plus, we've seen Pittsburgh have a willingness to bring in defensive backs to blitz. Bill O'Brien talked about it this morning in his press conference. So, yeah, you think you're going to see more deep shots. That depends a little bit on whether or not we'll see Will Fuller this week. Something was going on with him Sunday. That's clear. So we'll know more once the injury reports come out. But yes, I do think with all this speed in the lineup, you will see more deep shots materialize.
I think it's interesting, especially with this Sunday's matchup. We definitely want to see it. Bill O'Brien was asked about the explosive plays. He said that they had a few in Sunday's game against the Ravens. There's that one deep shot to Brandon Cooks. You certainly want to see more of that because it really gets the momentum of the offense going. But you're right, against a Steelers defense that blitzes as much as this Steelers defense does, maybe the game plan will be different. Maybe it'll be shorter intermediate passes. Maybe it'll be more running the ball. It's going to have to be a combination of all of them. I don't know if you're going to see just straight down shots down the field, because you're right, then Deshaun Watson may be holding onto the ball a little bit longer, waiting for his guys to get open. And you never want to see Deshaun Watson holding the ball too long, especially if TJ Watt and Bud Dupree are heading his way.
Yeah. And Jack has a question. He's asking how Will Fuller is and will he play this week? We'll see. Jack also wants to know, what do you think David Johnson will bring against the Steelers? The Texans want to keep getting David Johnson involved. He's a vital part of this offense. They want to feed him, whether it's on the ground, whether it's through the air. But I do think you're going to see David Johnson get his chances. And perhaps you can see David Johnson in the screen game. The Texans were willing to use that last week, not necessarily to him, but to wide receivers. And you think, hey, with a pass rush like Pittsburgh's, maybe that gets implemented more. But I do think you're going to see the Texans continually try to feed Johnson the ball, Deepi.
Yeah, I'd love to see that too. We talked to Darren Fells on our radio show last night. He played with David Johnson in Arizona, and he is just full of high praise for what he has seen from David Johnson during their playing time together in Arizona. And I mean, when I talk to Darren Fells, I get more and more excited about David Johnson. We certainly want to see him start to put up some of those numbers that he was early on in his career. But I think absolutely this Texans offense wants to get things going. They want to get the run game going. I think they were hurt a little bit, obviously, with Duke Johnson not being able to play last Sunday. He's day-to-day. I think when he's in there with David, it makes defenses have to sort of pick their poison, where the ball's going to go. But in any case, you want to see David Johnson out there. You want to see him getting the rock majority of the time. I think that would bode well for the game plan for Sunday, especially against such a good pass rush and a blitzing Steelers defense.
Sean has a good question, but it's really a good question for the month of March. He says, what do you expect out of the draft next year? And I'm like, hell, ask me in March. I have no idea. I know the Texans don't have a first or second round pick. They've got a lot of picks third round on, though. They do have like 6-7 picks. But let's get to that bridge a little bit later in the springtime. Sound good?
It's so early. The only person that might actually want to have that conversation maybe is John Harris, because I'm sure he's working on his Harris 100 already for.
Yeah, but even Johnny.
But even Johnny's like, can we just see how this plays out first?
Yeah. So, but it's a good question, Sean.
Great question.
Yeah, the Texans will look to add playmakers in April. I'll tell you that.
Definitely.
Peter wants to know, what do you think of the play calling? Well, I think the play calling has been fine. I just think the execution hasn't been there, and the players have said that themselves. The pass that Deshaun missed on the fourth down, they got to do a better job of blocking for it. He's got to do a better job throwing. Fells has to get open a little bit better. So I think the play calling has been okay, but I think the players ultimately got to execute, and they've said that, and the coaches have said that too.
Yeah, I think play calling is so relative, to how effective the play turns out to be. If you call a play and you get a first down, it's it's brave. If they don't make it, then there's a lot of questions involved. I think the biggest ailment to play calling questions is just getting a win and executing on offense. And it's certainly something the Texans have needed to do because they've not been able to score early and often. They get behind. And I think that just sort of puts them at a disadvantage to what plays they're able to call when you're down so much in a game. I mean, there's only so many plays that you're disposable, as opposed to when you're leading and you have control of how you want the game to go and the tempo of the game.
Yeah. All right. Our final question is from Jordan. And Jordan says, which rookie has stood out on the field the most? And I think you got to go with cornerback John Reed, don't you? Because he's played the most. And you haven't heard his name called too often, which when you're a cornerback, that's kind of like if you're a referee, if your name's not, or you're a long snapper, if your name's not called out, that means you're probably doing something right and they're not throwing your way. So I'll go with John Reed right now. How about you, Deepi?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go John Reed too, just because Jonathan Grenard is another guy that we've been really excited to see, but he's been inactive for the first 2 games. So, he's not really gotten out on the field. He's dealing with whatever he's dealing with. I think when he comes back out, we'll see what happens there. Obviously, Ross Blacklock was doing nice things, but an unfortunate end to his game on Sunday. So, we'll just dial it back a lot. I know we were really excited about Ross Blacklock and what he brings. I think he gets things turned around. Obviously, he's got a lot of potential too. So not a lot of rookies to choose from because the Texans only had 5 draft picks this year. So.
I said that was our last one. This is our last one because Amanda C has this. How does it feel to have Emmy-winning coworkers? It feels pretty good. Last night, we found out that the great Tyler Suddarth, a videographer, producer here for the Texans, as well as Tom McGuigan, he's just a wizard with producing and graphics and all that other stuff. They won an Emmy, a Lone Star Emmy, for their work on a Texans playoffs promo last year. Really, really cool stuff. Not surprised at all that they won because they're tremendous. I'm glad that the committee that nominated them saw fit to give them the honor. So congratulations to those two. It's the first of what we think is probably going to be many, right, Deepi?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they've done so many amazing Texans TV productions. That We Are Texans promo. I wrote a story. It's up on HoustonTexans.com. You can actually watch the Emmy-winning trailer, but it was a work in progress. They put it together so quickly, but it was not just a game trailer against the Buffalo Bills in the wild card game. They brought in Simone Biles. She narrated. They brought in Hakeem Olajuwon. They brought in Jose Altuve. They had shots of Houston history. I mean, if you live in Houston and you love Houston sports, it just really, stirred the emotions in you. It just was so nostalgic. And they put that all together for a game trailer. I remember watching that and thinking, I'm ready, guys. I don't know how you get more excited than this for a game. So go and watch it. Go to HoustonTexans.com, read the story, watch the trailer, see for yourself. And it's the first of many. I agree with you, Drew.
And the really cool thing about that is you bring up the Houston nostalgia. The people voting on this award, on the Emmy, they're not from Houston. They're probably from like the Northwest or from California or something. So they kind of go in, I don't want to say blind, but it's not like a bunch of hometowners voting on this. So yeah, outsiders recognize the high quality of work that went into it. And it's well-deserved for those two. Congrats again to Tom and to Tyler. Kudos to you, my friends. You guys are definite Emmy winners. All right, Deepi, great work as always. Thanks to Tyler Marcotte, Amanda, Andrew Temperley sitting in on this thing as well. We appreciate all of y'all's hard work, and we thank you all for watching out there on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching us, and we appreciate you chiming in and sending us questions. We'll do this again next Wednesday around this time of day. It's a Water Break Wednesday, and we will see you again. Till then, go Texans.